left or right. This is right now. OVC. Teachers shaping minds. Vets who stood strong. Gig workers hustling just to get along. Parents, elders, first time voters in line. Same clock ticking, same time. No dark money whispers. No backroom deals. Daylight choices and the truth that's real. Labels don't own us. We bigger than signs. Accountability lives where democracy thrives.
Our vote counts. Yeah, remember the name. Every voice heard. We don't play no games. From the city to the plains, let freedom resound. Different stories, same future. United we found. Our vote counts. Stand tall, no doubt. Integrity first. Let the people speak loud. From the city to the plains, let freedom resound. Different stories, same future. United we
Clear
found.
facts, no spin. Education unlocked. Breaking down the process from the door to the box. Who earns the trust? Who shows up to serve? Asking the questions. Leaders got nerves. Neighborhoods talking. Town halls packed. Local voices first. Yeah, we built it like that. Different faiths, views, so walking as one. Democracy stronger when we all get it done. Yeah.
Our vote counts, yeah, remember the name. Every voice heard. We don't play no games. From coast to coast, the movement expands. Power in the people, future in our hands. Our vote counts, stand tall, no doubt. When we show up informed, that's what it's all about. Our vote counts, stand tall, no doubt. When we show up informed, that's what it's all about.
This ain't no cycle. Nah, this is a standard. Long-term vision. Principles planned from schools to the boards up to the higher seats. We connect the dots from the block to the streets. Peaceful power, respect and demand. Integrity measured by actions, not plans. OVC active, participation mounts. When the people stand ready, turnout counts. Yeah.
Our vote counts, yeah, remember the name. Every voice heard. We don't play no games. From the city to the plains, let freedom resound. Different stories, same future. United we found. Our vote counts, stand tall, no doubt. Integrity first. Let the people speak loud. From the city to the plains, let freedom resound. Different stories, same future. United we found.
Every voice,
Every voice,
every vote.
every vote.
Integrity, inclusion, accountability. OVC.
OVC.
Yeah. 2026. My vote counts. So does yours.
I'm over here talking by myself. Welcome, guys. How are you guys doing today? Happy Tuesday. Today we are going to be speaking with Yurina Gil. She is from U.S. Florida District 26 in Miami, the Miami-Dade District. And we're going to ask her a bunch of questions. Come on in. Make sure that you are tapping the screen. Make sure that you are sharing and inviting all your friends to come see us. So make sure you repost this. Make sure you post this on your stories. The more people in here, the better. So, oh, I pronounced that all wrong. Yurina Gil? Did you pronounce Yurina Gil Ayana wrong? Well, I'm excited because she is from one of my favorite places in the world. Y'all know that I love, well, for those that don't know me, I do love Miami. So I am very excited to get to know Ms. Gil and ask her questions. And she lives in a pretty, what used to be a red district and now is a blue district, a blue area, because Miami has officially gone blue. So we are excited to see what her take is. And she is in the room. Whenever you guys are ready, you guys can let Ms. Yurina up. Hello, Yurina. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing good. A little tired, very busy with Hold on, I'm trying to turn the slide on. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
my hair is a little crazy today.
You're good. No worries. You've got the bright colors for Miami, so you came showing up.
Yes. I'm trying to turn the light on this thing on. Anyways.
You're good. We can see you just fine, though. How are you doing today?
It's been the last few days have been very, very busy, and it has been a bit tough. Yes, you're right. I heard you were talking about how red Miami is. I mean, this district specifically, because this district includes areas such as Doral, Hialeah, and those two cities are. There was a shift because I would say the same district. Obama won in this district too. So
Right.
these people shifted from Obama to Trump, and I think the current Congress people here in South Florida are like scared because things are not looking good for them, and they're trying to create this narrative around freeing Cuba and freeing Venezuela. I think it's not working as they expected it was going to work.
All right. Well, let me get started so we can introduce you. So today we do have Miss Yurina Gil from Miami-Dade County, and a little bit of the you have a little bit of Collier County, right? Just a little piece of it.
Yes.
So she is the area of Miami. So let me explain to you kind of how this works, Yurina. I'm going to introduce you. We'll let you talk a little bit about yourself. I do have a icebreaker question that we'll ask. Yurina is a Cuban born. I love me some immigrant. I am also an immigrant. So that's why I was like, I have to be the one that is moderating Yurina because I really wanted to know. She is from South Florida. She is running for U.S. House of Representatives, Florida 26th Congressional District. So we will have a bunch of questions. Remember that if you have questions, please make sure to request up or put them in the chat so that we can ask the questions. So let me get started with our mission statement. So our Vote Counts is a nonpartisan coalition of citizens from diverse states and background, united by a shared commitment to empowering voters and promoting candidates who stand for integrity, inclusion, accountability in the upcoming elections. We are formed by a collective of educators, veterans, small business owners, students, and community advocates. Our Vote Counts represents the strength and the unity across geography, race, and ideology. While our stories are all very different, our mission is the same: to ensure that every voice is heard and every vote is truly counted. Now, through voter education, candidate outreach, and community engagement, we support leaders who are ready to serve the people, not special interests, by working across state lines and elevating local national issues. We aim to increase voter turnout and inform public dialogue and build momentum in the lasting change. Our Vote Counts is more than just a name. It is a promise, a movement, and a rallying cry for democracy. Together, we are shaping the future, one informed voter at a time. So welcome, Yurina. Again, let me tell you a little bit about how this works. We're going to go back and forth asking you a couple of questions. We've got some fun rapid fires. But first of all, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us a little bit about your backstory and why you're here today.
Well, my name is Yurina Gil, or Yurina Gil, depending on which language you say. I was born in Cuba, 1979. When I was 17, my dad won this visa lottery, and I came to the States by the age of 18. Friday, February the 13th.
Wow.
Yes, of 1998, and it was such a coincidence. This year it was also a Friday, the anniversary, the 28th year. I came right after high school with my dad, who I really never lived with. I used to live with my mom, my stepdad, my older, the mother's side of the family. So after like a year or so, my dad moved to Orlando and I stayed in Miami on my own. And like many migrants, I did all sorts of jobs. I worked at a factory, I worked at gas stations. Eventually, I started working as a bookkeeper, but from the beginning, I started learning English. That was the first thing at Miami-Dade College. And then I started taking college courses. For someone so young by herself, there was a time that I dropped out because I moved to Orlando for a year. Then I came back. Then my mom came from Cuba and I had to, step up. And it was a bit hard to like go back to college, but I knew that I had to do something with like what was given to me, which was my brain. I think that's my biggest asset. And also, I guess, like, my stepdad was a professor, my grandma, there were some expectations, and I thought I had to do it. So at first I was going to study computer science, but eventually, thank God, I landed some bookkeeping job, and because I tried computer science and it was not for me. No, I took a C++ class. Someone told me I should have taken Visual Basic before, but I got a B. I'm not sure how.
Well, you passed.
I didn't cheat. I don't know, but well, anyways, yes, I passed. So I decided to go to school for accounting. I was really, I like accounting, but honestly, I think what I like even more than accounting is economics.
Okay.
So I decided to become a CPA. Why? Because as a Latino woman, it's more job security. Economics is sort of like a broad topic. You can make it or not, but
Right.
as an accountant, you're always going to have secure work. So that's what I did. I became a citizen in 2011, and since I registered as a Democrat.
Democrat.
I've always been a Democrat for one reason only. I'm progressive because the only thing certain in life is change.
I agree.
So being conservative is only trying to never stops the change. The only thing that does is delaying and making the process more painful than it has to be.
I agree.
So, and I decided to enter into politics because I cannot afford to lose another country.
I can totally understand that.
And aside from that, I have good ideas. I have good ideas that can enhance people's quality of living to resolve the problems that we have today. My fascination for economics, plus, as an accountant, you do have to study economics and understand the data so you can interpret your what the data is, right? So you need to understand the markets, the company inside, any factors. And I think those analytical skills, that's what allowed me to come up with like some ideas. Like, for example, I like to change the way the minimum wage is done.
Of course.
I want to create the wages to rent interest ratio because no number seems good. Because let's be honest, like U.S. has such a diverse, we're so diverse in cost of living, our demographics, everything is so dependent. I think it wouldn't make sense to set a number that could be very high for some places and not enough for others. So we can have a wages to rent interest ratio. So the minimum wage in the area is 3 times the cost of the most modest 2-bedroom apartment.
Right.
And implement it only to corporations and government first, because I understand how that could put a strength, on small businesses. The expectation is like wait 3 years, 4 years, maybe see how that translate in additional businesses for the small businesses.
Of course.
Right now, people are just like getting money to pay rent and buy food. Like there's nothing left to invest back in their community, in those small businesses. So that's one of the ideas, but I think I have many more, and
we'll we'll go down the line. We'll ask you because I've got a bunch of subjects. Now, let me
Yes.
ask you one thing, just as an icebreaker, real quick. I know that one of the things that we do talk about a lot as Latinos, and we are basically like sold this idea of the American dream. In a quick couple of sentence words, what is your American dream look like?
Quality of living.
Okay.
I think we've been so focused on improving our standards of living, and that's not even a standard. It's like having all this more and more and more. And I think in the US, it doesn't matter how much money you make, if you don't make enough, we all have all these pressures
I agree.
that we've been exposed constantly from, the violence at school, like the mass shootings and to, the pressures the expectations that we get at work.
Right.
So that affects people's psychic. And that's why we have such a big problem with mental health and everything. I think what I want to do is improve like people's quality of life.
Quality of life. I agree. Alrighty. So talking about the economy and affordability, Florida has the median household income of $75,000, which is incredibly insane. Because with $75,000, you can't live in Miami these days.
It's lower than the average too.
Yeah, and yet housing and insurance costs in Miami-Dade have risen among the fastest in the entire country. What federal economic policies would you prioritize in working with middle-class families here that can keep up everyday costs?
Well, one, I said the minimum wage, that would raise for everybody else and would bring more businesses to small businesses. Insurance, that's a great topic.
It is.
We have these corporations that are polluting our planet, and people might deny it or not deny it. It's irrelevant. You're being charged for it.
Yeah.
Your insurance bill, that you cannot deny, right?
Right.
So for years now, the companies that are registered in Europe, which are the same companies that register here, meaning the market there, that sell the stock there, had to report on their carbon emissions. I don't know exactly what specific regulations they have there around those emissions, but I know they started reporting in the US in 2023. They're trying to have them to stop doing that. It wouldn't even cost them anything. They're already doing it in Europe. So, but nothing really happens with that. So why do if these companies, they know which are the rates that they need to have and they're not buying for it, why do we need to keep footing the bill for the insurance, which right now is, pretty much uninsurable?
Yeah.
Every time there's a natural disaster, FEMA, then we have to build the resilient infrastructure. I was just watching some documentary. There's a big water problem in Florida, and because we have all this data mining that's happening here, and it's like they're using the water from underground, the sweet water, the drinking water. And what's happening, the salt water keeps pushing more inland. By 2040, all the shorelines going to have to be moved back.
Yeah,
exactly. So, and I was like kind of shocked because like this is already happening underneath. So the salt water is coming in,
right,
which is going to make our salt water more salty, and then we're not going to have drinkable water. So I think it's time to charge those people responsible for the climate change, rather than the regular people who keep paying for everything.
For the insurance for everything.
So, and that exactly is what I want to do, is I want to create a separate insurance that will be totally funded by the corporations, that would be exclusively for climate change, natural disasters and related to that. Once we do that, then every house will be reinsurable. The problem is just the natural disasters. If we remove that and we make the polluters responsible for that, and guess what? Once we touch the pockets, they're going to start doing what they need.
Making changes, of course.
And then, we have a lot of smart people. They're going to put the research and development in the areas where it's needed.
Right.
But we need to hit them where it hurts them the most, which is the pocket. And also help the people once and for all. Instead of having the regular person subsidizing corporations,
Right.
let's just do it the other way. I mean, it wouldn't even be a subsidy. It would be just fair.
Fair. Exactly. Yeah. So, you know that one of the major things in Miami area and the Miami-Dade is the amount of small businesses. I know that the area of Hialeah, Naples, Doral all have a massive amount of small businesses, which nowadays are being closed left and right. I know that many people that I've known have lost their businesses. What are your ideas to lowering operation costs and helping those local businesses grow and hire? I know you have plans for that.
Yeah, well, aside from the expectation is like usually, you pay your rent, you pay your utilities. If you have any money left, you're probably gonna go to that restaurant, the store in your neighborhood and spend that money. That's a way that's gonna benefit them too. But I have other ideas to improve small businesses, survival. One, there's a big problem that we're going through, which is our supply chain stability.
Yeah.
And obviously, aside from immigration, because a lot of the businesses have been hit because of the immigration policies. But aside from that, one of the things that I do want to do is to keep the cost low and our supply chain not disrupted anymore because of anything like COVID happened before, like the pandemic and all. They had like low water levels because of a drought.
Right.
So my idea is to create a network of companies of any size here and in Latin America.
Right.
To create companies, obviously, that have good employee conditions, they get paid, and create streamline the ways in which these companies can do trade with the United States and back.
Of course.
So I think that would open more opportunities, the way we have more sources of receiving products into the United States that will be beneficial for small businesses. And also we have to be better with the antitrust laws to avoid all these corporations and keep getting bigger and bigger and absorbing these smaller businesses.
I agree. All righty. So let's talk a little bit about social programs. You've spoken about expanding access to education and career pathways. I know you had a journey through the Job Corps and through college with federal social mobility programs. Would you prioritize so young people and adult learners in this district can move into better paying careers? Do you believe in expanding our Job Corps?
Absolutely. And that's a great point. I think we need to fix education from the younger kids, but I think for the adults, we're facing a big problem. First of all, Donald Trump said we didn't have enough talent. I disagree. We do have the talent, but we don't have educated people. Why? Because we don't make education available, accessible to these people. So we have to bring people from other countries. That's not beneficial to us. I don't mind bringing a few, but if you have to bring most of your team from another country, then we have a problem. And also, in the current environment we're living, where technology is changing so rapidly, corporations don't have the talent and people cannot keep up with the new technology, and people oftentimes have to reinvent themselves because maybe even their careers could become obsolete. At some point maybe we're not going to have gas cars anymore and people have to learn how to fix electric cars, right? But there's a gap between that technology and the needs of corporations and companies and what people have. So I think that's where the government needs to
insert information into,
and create a process in which we can supply companies and corporations with the skilled workers and they have, and also give people the opportunity to acquire those skills or reinvent themselves
at an affordable
cost. Exactly. No, and I think this things need to be subsidized because this is only going to come back. There's two type of things. There's expenses, right? And there's cost. it costs is like something that's going to produce, you incur a cost because you're going to have some profits direct, a product, I'm selling the computer, the materials, the cost, the warehouse, the secretary, those are expenses, but cost is something that you put in so you can get something back.
Right.
It's an investment. It's an expenditure that is necessary. So when this person, first of all, is not unemployed, can find the education they need in a form of a trade, because a lot of these new technologies can come with trades. We don't necessarily need people to go to the university. I think higher education is everything.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the companies don't have the skill, and then we can make these people match those skills. They're going to be making more money. They're going to be back into the society and it's a win-win for everybody.
It's a win-win for both the company and the person.
We have, at this point, we have like airlines are having issues filling positions for pilots because it's so expensive.
Right.
Same thing's happening with the corporations. If we don't make it accessible to people, and God knows how much talent we're losing because of that.
Physicians, doctors, nurses, OBGYNs. This country has such a shortage of OBGYNs across the entire country in almost every state.
But also plumbers and people that electricians. But at the same time, some jobs might become obsolete with new technology, and people need to reinvent themselves with the whole AI. And now they're talking about super AI.
Right.
So it never ends. So we need to be able to create that. And I think that's actually the role of the government, so the economy flows. We should be the ones that, link the corporations and the people, the needs and the wants with the skill needed for, I don't know if I'm making sense of myself.
I agree. No, you're making sense. No worries. Okay, so you've answered every time I ask you a question, you kind of answer the next one and the next one and the next one. So one of the things, no, you're good. No worries. So Hialeah, the area of Miami, is very well known for their expansive social programs. It's very well known that Hialeah has one of the most use for social programs for things like food stamps and healthcare, childcare. What do you feel is lacking in those areas, and why do you think that it is so prominent in that neighborhood? Because it's been voted across the U.S. that it is one of the cities that most consumes social programs.
Yeah, it's one of the 5 cities, the 5 districts with most ACA recipients.
Right.
It's also a city that like people's wages are below the national average.
Right.
So yeah, people need better wages, and people need better opportunities and better standards of living. And there's a lot of need for infrastructure, especially in the area. That's one of the things that people are hurting the most, because affordability and infrastructure.
Yeah.
The people that had to leave Hialeah because they cannot afford living there anymore. Yeah. But then the ones who are leaving are also dealing with like big problems of flooding. Apparently, in this documentary I'm seeing, we're building higher streets because of the water
level
rising, but then that's creating kind of dikes, and it's creating the flooding. Right. So we're only like putting patches that will make the problem bigger.
Of course.
I want to solve the root of the problem.
Makes sense. Alrighty, so I have a little rapid fire. These are going to be political. I have some fun ones at the end, which I'll go over with you. These are going to be political, 1 or 2 word answers. I want to see how you feel. These are going to be, like I said, in the political realm. So, should Congress create a pathway for citizenship for long-term undocumented immigrants, not only living in South Florida, but across the country?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you support banning members of Congress from trading individual stocks while in office?
Absolutely. That's one of my ideas. Congress independence. As an auditor, had to be independence in fact and in appearance. How these people don't abide by that.
Should federal student loans interest be eliminated or capped? Or both?
I think student loans should be eliminated.
Okay.
Not the interest, the student loans.
Okay. Alrighty. So this is a good one. This kind of involves you and me. Should the U.S. increase humanitarian protections for Cubans, Venezuelans, and Haitian migrants in South Florida?
Absolutely, as well as other nations that are going to very,
Similar
very
situation.
there
Yeah.
exactly, because
And I
it's
think-
not just the U.S. It's there's
Yeah.
South Sudan, there's like
Yeah.
Somalia. There's a lot of issues going around the world, and I'm a Cuban.
Right.
I love my people. I'm a Latino.
Right.
And I love the Latino people, but I'm a human being above
Right.
all that. So
Yeah.
I care for all humans. And there's a lot of like Ukrainians here that right now are also in limbo and stand by. You know what I'm saying?
And I think the government emphasizes so much on Cuba, Venezuela, Haiti, Nicaragua. Those are like the talking points right now, but you're right. There's so many other countries that actually are in worse conditions and need the assistance.
Or as bad. Yeah.
Or as bad. Exactly. Alrighty. Should federal disaster funding prioritize climate adaptation projects in the coastal districts? Do our projects need more money?
Can you repeat the question?
So, should federal disaster funding prioritize climate adaptation projects in coastal districts? So, should federal disaster funding be used for climate adaptation projects? Like, there's
We
a lot.
have to build that resilient infrastructure, but we need to do it right, because what we're doing now is putting patches. What we
Right.
need to use it is to actually fix the problem, not
Right.
create more problems, because everything that they're doing by raising like streets and everything is what's creating the flooding.
Right.
Because the idea is actually to accumulate like sweet water so it goes underground, because all these data centers are taking our
it.
drinking water.
Right. Should Congress increase funding for affordable housing? Because affordable housing in Miami.
Absolutely. I don't know if we can do affordable housing per se, but I would like to give, developers are building for millionaires and billionaires. What I want to do is give them credits in form of taxes, depending on what percentage of the larger the percentage, the larger the incentive.
I agree.
To build real affordable housing that would have to at least be somewhere around that range, because I seen people here that like they were doing sort of some affordable apartments, like, and they were $2,700. I mean, are you kidding me?
They're like a room with a bathroom and that's it, like nothing else.
$2,700. And people need 2 bedrooms. You need 2 bedrooms because you're gonna have a child. You don't want them to live on top of each other.
Right. Alrighty, last one. I know you've spoken about term limits. I know you do like term limits, but what do those limits look like to you? What is a limit? Do you have a number in mind?
I don't have a number. I would like to try to do something combining in both houses.
Okay.
I need to see how feasible it is. I think no more than 16, or maybe, I think 10 maybe, but I don't have a real number. I'd like to get more information from people that maybe there have been some more studies, that I need to get more, because what's the sweet spot? Because we cannot have someone also not long enough to be able to tell things, and we have to count on experience too.
Right.
And the idea would be also to have it sort of like that is not everyone knew at once, kind of like because we need that experience also, But I think it will be a great way to get the younger people engaged in politics, because they know they have to come up next. And I would like to create some ways to make it easier for regular people like me to actually be able to make this. Because right now, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to make it to the end.
Right.
I'm doing all these trainings, and I have collected so little money, and I think if we have to limit people because of that, then we're just becoming part of that problem.
Right.
And I would love to change that, creating, I don't know if scholarships or so, to get the new talent moving in.
It's funny you say that, because my first degree was in political science. And I remember 25 years ago, a lot more young people wanted to be involved in politics. They had so many questions and they got excited about, We had politicians, we had Obama come to school. Like we had so much movement in that time that I don't
a lot
see
of
that
hope
as
during that
much.
time too.
Yeah, I didn't see it as much nowadays. I don't see a lot more. I have a kid that is going to college next year and he doesn't care. Like none of his friends care.
I think they do care because I try to talk to the young kids.
Yeah.
I think they're frustrated because they're not being heard. So they are like, I feel so bad for the younger kids because we're living them a crappy planet.
Yeah.
They have so much uncertainty, such a harsh future for what we've done. And I think we owe it to them to try to make things. And I think them seeing this dinosaurs there in perpetuity, nothing happens. It's just a game. But if these people have turned limits and they have to go next, hey, you have to get ready. Then I think they will get back in the game. And ultimately, this is for them. This is in their best interest because, I mean, I'm getting much older, so.
Yeah. You have to step up because I'm not going to be here forever, right? All right, about constitutional rights and voting rights. I know that right now that is kind of on the edge. I know we as women, at least for me, I have 2 last names, but I don't have 2 last names on a lot of my documents. As a Latina, my mom, we know when we came to the U.S., a lot of my second name was dropped from a lot of things. So of course that is something that we fear. Also, and in your area, immigrants, you have a huge population of immigrants. It's over 70%.
70% Hispanic.
Yeah, they don't understand that those voting right protections that are so important. What are you doing to teach them how important voting is? Because that's why we're here, right? We want people to vote. We want to encourage them. But the Latino community kind of doesn't vote.
I mean, the Cuban people do vote. They just vote run.
They do.
Cubans are very into politics. They last time they voted run.
Right.
And people are very engaged. People are very engaged. I'm seeing a lot more younger people. What we do is, we keep insisting on people to first enroll to vote by mail. People are like, oh, I don't like to vote by mail. Well, I don't vote by mail either, but I enroll. And guess what? I get my ballot ahead of time. Something happened, I can send it. I can also review it ahead of time.
Right.
They are on registering people for whatever reason from time to time. Go and check your voter registration.
Right.
That's
but there's a language barrier. There's a language barrier there. How do you make those people that have that language barrier understand their voting rights? Because I think for me, one of the things that we struggle with within my family, let's just say my family is very political. I come from a very political family. So I'm a little bit different, but I do have another side. And they say, well, I don't understand it. Like, there's never anyone who speaks Spanish. Of course, Miami is completely different.
It's the example
either you speak Spanish or don't live in Miami.
This is a bubble. And that's why the people here don't really perhaps have suffered so much the consequence. And they have, but like immigration here is not like they're doing it in Minneapolis. They're doing it very hidden. It's, this is a Republican area. So there are literally in a bubble. You see all the no Spanish thing. Most of the people that still support Trump don't speak English.
Right.
Literally. No.
They don't.
You go to Hialeah, you need to learn Spanish because otherwise you're not gonna understand. It's tough. I mean, people do get by. I do know some white, but very minimal.
Yeah. All right. So one of the things that you have heavily talked about is how you left Cuba and valuing the freedoms that were guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution. In today's climate, where debates about misinformation and protest and political speech are increasingly heated, I'm sure you've been a part of several of them. How would you balance protecting the First Amendment rights with concerns about online misinformation and political extremism, especially in districts where political views about countries and U.S. foreign policies are so deeply personal? Because I know in Miami, everything that's Cuban and Venezuelan, we are deeply informed about it, or we want to know more about it because it does affect our families and our personal. So how would you protect the First Amendment rights, including online information? Do you think that there's policies that you can put out, or do you believe there should be policies? That was a complex question.
That's an interesting topic, and to be honest, that's not something that I have thought about. Like,
Okay.
but particularly how I do it with the constituents right now, talking to people. You know, it's interesting. Some people, many people, have told me that I have to keep it very simple, very dumb. There's
Dumb
certain
it
topics
down. Yeah.
that people don't care.
Right.
And I have tried in my space, in my TikTok,
Right.
to very simple terms explain things that might be a little more complex.
Right.
And I realize that people are appreciating that.
Yeah.
Because it's not like people do want to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's, and someone told me, and actually that's something I like to do at some point in my life, teach, and I have done trainings and teaching, and it's something that I enjoy. So that's what I try to do. Educate people, because that's actually that's all you can do. It's really hard to control. Yes, there's certain narrative that should be controlled. I think there needs to be limitations. And if you're talking about the First Amendment, there's a lot of things going on right now in Europe with social media. They're banning for certain kids. There's been some scandals around Elon Musk. But honestly, I am more concerned about those people protesting that have been gunned down.
Yeah.
Because of the First Amendment right, and how that brings me flashbacks of Cuba.
Right.
I think we just need to keep informing people. And yes, there has to be some limits, but I haven't really, there's so much going on, to be honest.
I agree. So you answer all my questions. You're like way ahead of me.
You know what, my people ask me if I think it might be I kind of look at things like I like to see the big picture.
Yeah.
And people tend to isolate one thing from the other, and actually, things are kind of like
combined. Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's talk a little bit about my favorite subject, immigration. So nearly half of the potential voters in your district are actually immigrants, almost 49%, 48%, and families here have mixed immigration statuses, whether they're documented, undocumented, asylum, refugee, TPS. If you are elected to Congress, what specific immigration reforms would you push for that would protect families and communities in your district, while also addressing that national border policy and respecting, the U.S. laws that are in place?
The borders need to be protected.
Yeah.
When I was talking about decentralization of our supply chain, that's actually one strategy to curb migration.
Okay.
Because when you bring prosperity to different places, people don't leave. Nobody leaves because they want. Nobody migrates by choice, right? So that was one thing. And I'm sorry, I kind of like. Can you repeat the question? I kind of like lost it.
No worries. So nearly half of the potential voters are immigrants, and many families have mixed immigration status. So what specific immigration reforms would you push for that would protect those families in your district?
First, I would like to reinstate those I-220A and 220Bs that Trump deemed no longer valid. Those people should be able to go through their processes.
I agree.
And reinstate all those TPSs. I think we have a very large portion of the population who were or are undocumented, that some of them have been kicked out of the United States, but there are people that have been here in the United States for pretty much all their lives. and that have family relatives here, and maybe they have some small, crime back in the day, some drug issue 20 years ago. Those people need to be reunited with their relatives back in the
I agree.
United States. I would love to pass some amnesty and give paper to anyone that's been here like for 10
I
years
have
or
people
more.
that have been 30, 40 years and they are still pending. They've been paying lawyers for decades. I don't think
that is a
people
brick
forget.
up.
Yeah,
That's a brick
they
up.
pay lawyers for decades. They're literally
they're
paying
business
lawyers for
owners.
decades.
They're business owners. They're the fathers and the husbands of U.S. citizens. If you've been here for 10 years or longer, you haven't. It was nothing. It wasn't a violent crime, and you've been clean for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You're good. If you have had other problems, maybe case by case needs to be reviewed.
Right. But the majority are not. But the majority of undocumented immigrants don't even get tickets. So it's hard for me to understand why so many people are against, even on our side, even on the Democrat side, there are people that are just not for an amnesty. And I think it's so important. I
think we're good. And I think that my hope, and this is why another reason why I'm running for this Congress, and I would have not run for Congress any other time before, it's the amount of new people that are running this time. Yeah. So I think there's going to be a whole lot of new blood. Fresh blood of people that want to get things done. And that's going to pressure the ones that have been there longer and haven't done enough. And I think actually we're going to be able to pass things.
I agree.
So in the first 2 years might be, trying to hold out unless we get enough numbers to even kick him out. And then we're going to be able to do things. Otherwise, might just stop him.
Yeah, at least slow him down, right?
Stop the bleed. that would be a big I'll be happy with that.
Of course. So South Florida is one of the most diverse regions in the country, and although it is the majority Latino, it also includes Blacks, Caribbeans, and many other immigrant communities. I know there's tons of Argentinians, there's tons of Peruvians, Hondureños.
There's Haitians, a good amount. Some Haitians, Mexican, and in Immokalee especially, which is one of the poorest neighborhoods. And there's also has Alapata, Brownsville. Yes.
Right. Sometimes they feel like they're being overlooked because everyone is so concerned about the Latino community. If you're elected to Congress, how would you work to reduce that racial division and ensure that policies coming out of Washington do reflect and support the diversity of the communities in your county?
It's funny when I think about things that I want to do for the Latino, I'm also thinking about the Black people because they too are minorities.
Right.
And if you ask me, how minorities can get ahead in this country, education and representation. And those are the tools that I want to give to everybody in District 26, regardless of the race, and that with that, obviously, the opportunities. And obviously, at some point, we need, once we remove Trump and all his people, reinstate all those programs that were in place to ensure that Latinos as well as Black can have opportunities in corporate America.
Of course. All righty.
So DEI myself. I'm a DEI myself. Yes, I'm a DEI hire myself.
So am I. Don't worry. I'm also DEI.
I'm very proud of it. I am very proud of it.
I am too. Don't worry. I am DEI also. All right, let's talk a little bit about the environment and protections. Of course, Florida is a huge state that requires a lot of protections. And right now, things like the Everglades ecosystem, which much of it is within the bordering district, is currently federally funded restoration priority costing billions over decades. What would you do for Congress to strengthen protections and ensure long-term funding for the Everglades and its restoration? You talked a little bit about that, but
not Congress. You know who needs to pay for that, right? The polluters.
Yeah.
Through Congress, Congress charge the polluters, because if Congress just put money in it, it's actually our money. So that polluters, that's how we need to do all those restorations and I don't think Democrats want to do a war on companies and technology, but we just want to make sure that we live a sustainable life, because otherwise our own existence will be threatened and the future of our kids.
I agree.
Our quality of living is already suffering. People are like, oh, it's not true. It's not true. I remember my summers in Cuba. I would go to the beach every day and we'd go to bike or walking.
Yeah.
You can't step outside right now in the summer.
No.
People have summer blues. They get depressed because they can't spend time outside.
Yeah.
Our quality of living is already being affected.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. All right, let's talk about one of I've heard you mention our detention center. So large-scale projects in the Everglades region, including that famous detention facility and infrastructure proposals spanning Miami-Dade and Collier Land, have raised great concerns about the wetlands and our endangered species. What federal environment safeguards would you support to balance that growth for the protections of the district?
I'm sorry, what safeguards specific?
What safeguards would you support? Yeah, to balance that growth so that...
obviously, there's multiple things that affect the Everglades.
Yeah.
One of the biggest one is that the Big Sugar has been purchasing land around Lake Okeechobee.
For a long time.
Yes, the Friends of the Everglades have been able to purchase back some of that land.
Yeah.
And this year, for the first time in like 20-something years, the flamingos came back.
I know, my family tells me that. And it's been decades that you've seen them on and off, but not as many as came back this year. Well, and they're so beautiful.
So yes, like the Everglades are survival in South Florida depends on how healthy our Everglades are. We have to stop development. We have to keep the flow of the river. We have to work around nature. So that's what was happening. It was interrupted. That's why the water was being expelled to both sides. That's what created the big catastrophe of the blue algae that kills so many fish.
Right.
But we need to work with nature. The flow has been restored, but we need even more. And then we need to make it harder for companies to just keep screwing things.
Yeah, because the more they develop, the less. And it's crazy because Florida, being such a state that is so protective about their environment, they also don't care at the same time.
We keep letting people here and we will run out of drinking water.
Yeah, I agree.
Properties are going to suffer, I advise, because usually the people that have a lot of money, they're still buying and flipping houses. They know exactly when to get out.
Yeah.
And then the ones behind are the ones where the properties become totally worthless. I advise people to try to learn a little more, because you don't want to lose all your investments.
I agree.
Just be mindful of which area you're buying and think about the future, because...
And real estate is a huge business industry in Miami. It's one of the biggest.
Developing, and then something else that here in Miami they keep building apartments for billionaires, right?
They do.
And they have built, like, I have to give it to our mayor, that there has been a lot of development for affordable housing, but it hasn't kept up. And
right.
One thing that we need badly here is public transportation.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
It's good for the environment. Plus, we're living one on top, like density. Like, there's too many of us by
in one small space. Yeah.
We can't drive.
Yeah.
Because we are literally in like a parking lot. Yeah. And that has to be, and that has, it's good for the environment.
Yeah. Yeah, because Miami's public transportation has been lacking for a long time. And I'm not sure, and you see that a lot in many cities. I'm not sure why they don't see the importance of investing in public transportation. It helps so much in so many ways. And I live in Houston and we have horrible traffic too, but our public transportation only is in the Houston area and nowhere else. We don't have any public transportation outside. And I think that's super important. And I never understood why Miami did not focus its stuff on that.
And something interesting. Not long ago, I was reading something about how the life expectancy of Americans have suffered. I mean, we're not even a top 50 country. The like most powerful country in the world, like our people dying at 77, like, and they were talking about how American has become a drive-through country. And then we become like more and more disconnected. We are fighting against rest. It's all about how much and like we're always in a rush. And then we have created this drive-through culture, right? They say that when we start moving more to suburban areas, they say that Europeans moved to suburban areas, but they built trains and parks where life will happen around and coffee shops. And I think they started killing that maybe to make us produce more, but ultimately, if you kill the consumer, if you kill the work, I mean, it's not sustainable. Then there has to be a change. There has to be a change needed because.
And what is this huge project that they did under the bridge? What is it called? I was going to ask and I totally forgot to look it up. That huge project where it's going to be walking trails and biking that's under.
Oh, the underline.
The underline, yeah.
That was good.
Stopped. Yeah, it was, but it stopped right. Isn't it paused right now?
No, I don't think so. Oh, I mean, they I don't know. I don't know exactly because like they've been building, but I seen they have done more because like like in the Brickell area, which is the most central areas, they had more stuff done. But I was driving south the other day and I seen more things. I'm not 100% sure. I cannot.
Yeah, I read the other day that it was paused because of some type of funding that was misused or something, but I could be wrong. But maybe they're just.
Maybe it's a temporary thing. But maybe it's a temporary thing, investigation. But I think the project should still go.
I thought it was a really cool project. And it looks really nice.
You can bike so far onto the train, and then you also get a bit of shade from the train. And there's like trees on US1. It's cool, and they have courts so people can like basketball courts and you can run and stuff like that. It's pretty cool, and they have vendors come and
sell food. Yeah,
we need stuff like that, food and clothing, because people need to socialize. We're social beings, and we're just so isolated. We're in constant fight or flight mode, and that's not a way to live.
We've accustomed to just do everything at home. I work from home. I live at home. I cook at home. We don't,
you order food to be delivered.
I order Uber Eats. I ordered Instacart today for my groceries. Like we don't get out as much as we should. I totally agree. All righty. I got some fun rapid fires for you as we're ending. So these, I know a little bit about Miami since most of my family lives here.
I guess
lives there. But just a couple of questions. Fun rapid fire. These are going to be fun, not political at all. What is one word that describes Miami to you?
Hot.
I agree. Although I don't like that Trump.
In every term, no. Hot because it's hot, and also hot because there's very hot people here. People are very attractive in Miami. People in Miami tend to be very attractive. So hot in both, like
it's both hot in both ways. Alrighty, I got a hard one for you. Miami Heat, the Dolphins, or the Marlins?
I'm not a sport person.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah,
I get it. But I'm not a sport person. Okay, I'm not a fan.
Right. So, what's your favorite Miami restaurant?
That's hard. That's hard. I like one that came from New York called Felice, but the Cuban ones I like Sergio's.
Okay. I was going to ask you, I have the Cuban restaurant, but Sergio's is kind of on the new one. I was going to ask you a little bit more of the historical ones. Are you a Versailles, La Carreta o el Palacio de los Jugos? Or none?
I like el Palacio de los Jugos better than Versailles.
Besides,
The Versailles La Carreta, they're too red. El Palacio de los Jugos, I think I heard. Don't
Yes.
trust me, he might be a Democrat.
he might be. Okay. Little Havana or Wynwood?
I like Little Havana. I like Wynwood
do
too, but
too.
it's different. But Little
It is.
Havana has changed so much that sometimes
Yeah.
I even feel brings back, like, makes me feel nostalgic about Cuba.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing, like the Wynwood has La Tropical, which is the brewery they
Right.
used to have in Cuba when my dad and my uncle and my
Okay.
grandfather used to work.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Your family did used to work at El Tropical. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, and my grandma's brother too. So the four
Oh,
of them.
cool. Awesome. So if you're walking on Calle Ocho, what are you eating?
I mean, I could have Mexican, probably have Mexican. There's
The
a Mexican
Mexican
place that I
restaurant
really like.
It's so good. That's my
classic.
favorite. And I live in Texas, but I love the Mexican restaurant on Calle Ocho. It's so good.
You know, and like that, yeah, you probably know it, like it's so good. This place is one of the best
I
like
love it.
Mexican
Yeah.
food, like because it's original. It's like the real
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes, it's funny. I tell
Sour
everyone.
cream, no.
No, it's funny because I do tell everybody that, you know, they're like, "How are you going to eat Mexican in Miami?" But that restaurant, it's so good. What's it called?
El taquito mexicano, something like that.
And then you go across the street and you eat ice cream at Azúcar.
La azúcar, yeah.
I love that. Okay. And then what is your campaign song? If you had to name one song to your campaign, do you have a campaign song?
Well, I have songs in English and Spanish, but the
Okay.
theme in like the one that Defying Gravity from Weekend.
Okay.
Something has changed in me.
Yeah.
Something is
That's the one that defines you. Okay. That's good. That's a beautiful song. So I'm glad.
Listen to it again, like after listen to it again.
Okay. And see how okay. I will do that.
Like, cause now you like after I tell you, maybe you like it's so moving. It's so like. There's like a time like when Ariana Grande says you're having the layers of grandeur, like you're thinking more than you could, and that's precise a lot of. So I feel that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to defy gravity. I saw something, I couldn't stay asleep anymore. I had to speak up and
yeah. I think a lot of for me, who I've always said I was gonna one day run. It's until you're like, I've had enough, and then when you've had enough, and then you realize, and that's you defied gravity. That makes sense. I love that.
I never thought I was gonna be inspired by a Broadway song, but it's so powerful. Because those two ladies singing is, I mean.
All right, last one. What's your favorite beach in Florida?
I mean, I when I used to go to the beach more often before parking was like $8 an hour in the meter. I used to go to, they call it Brazilian Beach.
Okay.
It's between Second and Third.
Okay.
There's a park there. I used to park in Washington, but now with the meter, it's $8 an hour. I don't know. That was a little while ago. It might be more now.
It might be more now. Yeah, everything has gotten so much more expensive, so it's so hard to go anywhere these days.
I just like sometimes go to Key Biscayne and maybe go to the North Beach, but I used to go to that area between Second and Third because a lot of the locals will go there. They call it the Brazilian Beach, and there was these Brazilians with the bikinis, and they will be playing paddle in the water. It was
just, yeah, that's cool. Alrighty, so I've pretty much ran out of questions for you. You've answered all my questions. Let us know a couple before we go. If anyone has any questions in the chat, I don't think I even stopped to ask for questions, but if anybody has any questions and you want to come up, I totally forgot to ask for questions, but come up if you have any.
I can come back another day.
Yeah, we can definitely go back. I do want to ask you a couple of things before we do go. Some closing questions. So if you are elected, what do you hope families across your district will feel has improved in their daily lives because you are representing them.
They're gonna have peace of mind again.
I agree. Yeah, that's
Peace
a good
of
one.
mind that they're gonna have enough money to pay rent, to pay food, and that the relatives are not gonna be picked up by some mass government agent.
I agree. So Florida's 26th district is one of the most diverse and immigrant-rich regions in the country. What kind of future do you want for the next generation here to be able to build?
I want them to follow up. You know, I always say three ways that I can win. One, obviously, by winning. Two, even if I don't win, someone listens to my ideas and wants to implement it, I go ahead. And three, more people like me do the same. I want to show people that they can do that. They can do this. It's not impossible. We deserve it. We're worth it. Our limits are set by ourselves. So if anyone wants to feel like defying gravity, although this thing is hard.
And then you often speak about your journey from Cuba to South Florida. I know that's a huge experience in your life, but from that personal experience, from that path, what has best prepared you to represent your community in Congress right now?
First, my stories are exactly like theirs. I come from the same place, and as many of them, I still have relatives in the island, close relatives. My sister, my niece.
Okay. Yeah.
I have lived with some experiences, you know, when they say, like, you know, tell me something. The other day I was outside Alligator Alcatraz for the weekly vigil, and they were talking about the stranger. And I, you know, and I was like, well, because there were these like American white people that were go there to support the Hispanics, the people, you know, they protest the people that are being incarcerated there, and they're talking about the stranger, you know, and I was like, well, I am the stranger.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a question in the chat. What district is she running for? Actually, Scorpion is also Cuban. She does live in Florida, in California, but I know she does have family in Florida. Scorpion, she is in District 26. So Hialeah, Doral, Collier County, that area.
All the northwest of Miami. And like the eastern part of Collier. And it's so sad because Alligator Alcatraz is in District 26.
I know. It is. Hi, Ayana. Well, we do have a question.
Hey, Alice. Bet you thought you were going to get out of here early, huh?
Well, I ran out of questions. She's already answered all my questions.
I know, she's so good. It's been the two of you up here just chatting. I'm listening. I'm like, oh, they sound like they've known each other for years.
Must be the Cuban thing, you know, we're
So what I wanted to ask is related to DHS. Right now, the agency is not funded, and there are, you know, thousands of employees going without income because of the stalemate over funding ICE. How do you, when you get into Congress, what do you see as your role as either preventing these shutdowns or protecting employees from having to go without income while these political fights are happening?
First of all, I hope the next Congress is a Congress that will have a lesson learned and it's going to be willing to work together because people are going to be paying attention. And what am I going to do to try to... Honestly, I do think that people will want to work together this time. We have to, and honestly, also, I don't think it's a good idea to shut down the government, with the exception of this time. Why?
Really?
Because this is the difference between this time and another time is that if we keep pouring money into DHS, it's already costing U.S. citizens their lives. This is like it's gone way too far and needs to be controlled.
Correct.
Because that's the only instance. Every time we need to learn how to work together, and I think Congress should not receive wages as if nobody else is.
Okay. Okay, I got it.
I think we need to work together and not give a damn whether you think or not. And I think people, the new Congress, even because it's my understanding there's a lot of incumbents that are being challenged too on both sides. So people are
Yes.
fed up of the inactivity. So my hope is that all these new people are going to come to Congress are going to come with, okay, let's cut this and we're going to work.
So do you see this current shutdown ending anytime soon, or do you think it's going to go until, I don't know. I hope it doesn't go any longer because really, when you think about it, it's the TSA agents. Those are the ones I care about. Everybody else,
I
but
mean,
the people who are
everybody,
trying
there's
to
a
get
lot of
people,
people
yeah,
working different things, people that do research, people that work in parks. There's a lot of people.
yeah,
And people say, I've seen the lines, I've seen the chaos, and I think we're less safe. But I mean, we cannot give these people a blank check to keep shooting Americans. You know
I
what I'm saying?
understand.
They've
Yeah.
gone way too far. This is one of the one shutdown that I do support 100%.
But it seems like it's so chaotic now with everything that Trump is throwing at the American people that Congress can't really keep up with. There's the war, there's the shutdown, there's the e-files, there's
Congress
the
could
this
keep
and the
up if
this.
they would stop him. They just are choosing because, like, the Republicans are not acting.
Yeah.
Congress will be able to keep up really quickly. They just are letting it go and go and go, and it's getting,
It's piling up. Yeah.
Exactly. But they could stop this.
That's true. They could stop all of it. They absolutely could.
And funny thing, the guy that Trump endorsed was in California switched to independent.
I saw that story. We were talking about that earlier.
So I have a lot of hope because there has to be an awakening. Do I have a crystal ball? I don't. I would have never run for the current Congress because I cannot be in a position where I cannot do anything.
I got you.
I think it's going to be a different one. And I think the next November election is going to be a wake-up call. Even for the ones that remain, they're going to learn, hey, I'd rather start doing something because we're tired.
I got you. I understand. I do. Well, thank you so much. And good luck with your campaign.
Thank you. Thank you. Also, I don't have to say my website, but people can check me out on my website.
Yeah. I was gonna let you know where we find you. Throw out your socials out there. We're gonna post them also, but
my name is very unique, so it's easy to find.
It is Yurina Gil.
Yes, yeah. The website is yurinagilforcom. So you can find more about that, but you can follow me on all social medias. I'm trying to keep up with all of them, but it's hard. Mostly Facebook, Instagram, X,
okay.
LinkedIn. I have been LinkedIn too, and Blue.
Okay. Where can we donate?
You can go to the website, yurinagilforyou.com, and also you can find very cool merchandise and this Cuban guy that lives in North Carolina, because I haven't had the opportunity of meeting so many people in different places that have tried to help me with this. And so he put together some beautiful merchandise. He redid my logo.
Awesome. So I'm going to have to go and look at them because I have not done. I have not seen that, but definitely
and actually some people, because he changed my logo and he created a logo that people can, like, some of my supporters are putting as the
that's their little picture. I've seen it.
Gil Guild.
Yeah. I've seen that. I've seen that on the Latino lives that you guys. Yes, yeah.
He created it.
Yeah, you're right. Now I do remember. All right. So any last words, anything else you want us to know, your constituents, for those listening that are living in Florida? What are your last words?
Well, my last words is to ponte las pilas. We have to
put your batteries on.
Yes, get on and going. I have weekly lives on TikTok. I'm going to be having a happy hour in Hialeah, 9 feet under, from 6 to 8. Anyone that wants to come and join me. And then later on, we're going to have more opportunities. Also, you can sign up to volunteer so we can have phone banks and start knocking doors and get this thing going.
Well, Scorpion wants to know, when is your happy hour?
On the 19th, March 19th, at 9 feet under, from 6 to 8. You go to my page. I've been posting it, and I'll do it again soon. But 9 feet under on March 19th, 2 days after St. Patrick.
Okay. Sounds good.
So you can recoup if you're a little hangover from the party, like you have one day.
Good. All right, Miss Yurina, thank you so much for being here today. It has been my pleasure. I want to know, Miami's like my second favorite place in the world, so that's why I was like, I had to talk to her, because I do love your area. And I know that most of my family are actually, I'm trying to get them, hey, Yurina's running, that's who you're going to vote for, so just remember. But thank you for coming today. En Spanish, fue completamente un placer tenerla a ti hoy en día acá. Así que muchísimas gracias. Thank you for being here. And thank you for everybody here at Your Vote Counts. If you would like to stay tonight, we don't have any more town halls, but we will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Miss Soretta Smith. She's running for U.S. House Representative District 12 in the state of Georgia. And then at 8 p.m., we will have Robert Cooper, who is running in actually District 6 of Florida. So he will be joining us tomorrow. So thank you guys for having us. Remember that it is our mission to make sure that everybody listens to our candidates and lets us ask questions and lets us know what they're running for. So just remember that our vote counts. Oh, roundtable. So every other Sunday, we had our first on March 1st, and I believe our next one is going to be the 15th. If you would like to come to Yurina, where we have roundtables where we sit with 8 candidates, usually we'll sit about 8 people in a room, candidates that are running for all sorts of positions across the United States. And you come join us. We are talking about, people that may sit in Congress with you. So we are welcome to come. Usually it's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern on March 15th. We will have another one on March 29th. And we sit and we talk about, what other candidates can do with, helping each other and how to move forward. So
to pass bills, you have to align, get alliance in Congress so you get your vote.
Exactly. So that's why we want you guys to all meet. If we can put more people than 8 on a panel, that would be even better. But thank you, Yurina. It has been my pleasure, truly. And just a little bit, just a reminder that who we are we are a nonpartisan movement, united Americans from all walks of life to empower voters, support candidates of integrity, and ensure every voice is heard. Through education, outreach, accountability, and action, we are building a stronger democracy, one informed vote at a time. So join us, because your vote is your power. Bueno, muchas gracias, Yurina. Un placer.
Bueno, bye.
Bye.